Hey, this is Heidi Dawson. If you love all things health and wellness and style of any kind, hang out here with me each week. I'm obsessed with never-ending improvement, and it's all in an effort to help each one of us live a wildly successful lifestyle. Subscribe today so you don't miss a thing.
Hi, guys. Welcome to episode 440 of the Wildly Successful Lifestyle Podcast. Thanks for being here, and also thanks for sharing. And if you're so inclined and it feels right, for giving me a 5-star review. It does help quite a bit. And I also love that we get to be together twice a week, even if it's just for 10 minutes at a time. So thanks for hanging out. All right, so I've mentioned my friend Lena to you guys. She's a new friend that I've made in the last year. I met her at the gym, and we're similar in a lot of ways and not similar in a lot of ways. Isn't that how it is with most of our friends? Most people that we come in contact with anyway. But we both enjoy a challenge and we love to work out. So I was telling Kevin, my trainer, one day about our swimming the day before and how we swam really hard for an hour and 20 minutes or something. And it was crazy because I had worked out already with weights prior to that. So that's a lot of working out for me in one day. Not Lena does it regularly, but I don't. So Kevin proceeds to say, well, you have found your spirit animal gym friend. And I laughed and I said, you're right. Which of course begged the question that I had to ask of him of what spirit animal he thinks we are. So now he knows me very well. We've been working together for, almost 8 years. So he knows I want him to say something like a lion because they're fierce and they're also my favorite animal, or something cool like that, something fierce. But instead he says, nope, you guys are flamingos. Oh, flamingo? What in the world? Why a flamingo? Oh my goodness. No way. We're not flamingos. So we had a good laugh about it. And when Lena came by to say hi, I laughingly told her about our insulting spirit animal, flamingo, to which she said, I proudly wear my flamingo badge. And I love that. Okay, flamingo it is. Well, about a week later, I am going to Furniture Market I have several clients that I'm looking for things for. And at Furniture Market, there is a company that always gives really cool stuffed animals. And my little sister calls them stuffies. And it's always a big hit. Everyone wants one of their stuffed animals. And the last year that I was there, it was a lion, which of course I was obsessed with. Now, you know what they are because it doesn't take long at market to start seeing people carrying around the stuffed animal of the show. They're easy to spot. So I'm walking around and I see a woman and she's carrying these two beautiful flamingos. And I think, that's interesting and cool. And then I start seeing a few other women with these gorgeous pink flamingos. And I'm like, oh my goodness, the stuffy this year is a pink flamingo. Imagine that. Now, this is not a situation where they're just handing the flamingos out to whoever. They kind of want you to take the tour and be a buyer of their product, of course. So our first attempt to get into the showroom didn't happen because our rep wasn't available. And I noticed that I was worried that I wasn't going to get a flamingo. I noticed I was starting to worry about that. And I really didn't want just one. I wanted two, one for me and one for Lena. It would be so funny to be able to give her one. But now I worried that because we couldn't get in and it was looking like they were kind of being a little bit tougher about it this year, that it wasn't going to happen. But I noticed that and I said, you know what? Forcing things, it just never works out well. And if it does, you don't usually feel good about it, or you've stressed yourself out so much that you don't want it in the end anyway. So I thought, okay, I'm going to just let it go and I'm going to leave it to the universe. And if I'm supposed to go home with two flamingos, I will. And I honestly never gave it another thought after I had that feeling, after I thought that to myself. Until the next day when our friends who we were with at market sent a text and said, hey, we're having lunch in the showroom where they have the flamingos and we've already gotten our flamingos. You need to come join us. So I thought, okay, this is awesome. So we head up, and when we checked in, we told them that our friends were already there and they were having lunch. And so they walked us. They were like, sure, go join them. And they walked us back to meet them. And we had a really yummy, healthy lunch. And then when I went to get my flamingo, they had a table set up and there was a sign that said 2 flamingos per person. Oh man. They have never had that sign before, not that I can remember. When I asked how it came about that they chose flamingos, the guy said, we really aren't sure. They don't usually do birds, but they did this year. My point in telling this story, it's a cool story, but I also I knew that I could manage to get a flamingo. I could fret, I could finagle, I could stress, or I could just let it go and let the universe work the magic that it always will when you allow it to. And that's what I did. And it felt so right and satisfying the way it played out. Now, because I was raised in a very strict religion that painted God as angry and jealous and punishing, I never really understood why people felt so good about saying, let go and let God. Have you ever heard that before? Well, I never felt that. But now I understand. We can force our way through life, and sure, that works in a way, but it makes life difficult and stressful. But when you put an attention to something you desire and you just allow it to happen as it will, what's meant for you will always be yours. I mean, you can do it the hard way by forcing and efforting if you want, but having done that for a very long time, I can attest to the satisfaction of just allowing. Now, I talked in an earlier episode about having quite a bit recently of anxiety about a product I was selecting for a client, and I just had this uneasy feeling about this vendor. I just didn't think it was the right fit for this client. And we had been considering it, and we'd been talking to him and just, sort of working everything out. And eventually I just decided to go with my gut and I know that the right product was out there. I said, and in the meantime, I went ahead and told the vendor, we're going to go a different direction. I'm so sorry. But I knew that was the right decision. I didn't have a vendor yet. But a new vendor came to me by way of a client that it's a long-time client, and they were kind of needing a decision fast. And I decided to help even though I didn't really have the time. And the product turned out to be exactly what we wanted, and it actually came in at half the cost. You see, letting go and allowing used to be, in my mind, the lazy way out. I knew that product wasn't right. And I knew that if I just kept forcing and just trying to make it work, it wasn't going to turn out well. And so when I just decided, okay, that's it. I know something better. I know there's something meant for this client that's going to be perfect. And I just have to allow that to happen. And that's what I did. And when you do that, things happen just the way they should. I mean, I know that our society, they tell us you have to be efforting in order to make things happen. And I thought letting go and allowing was the lazy way out. I always thought you should be working hard. And I believed in if you're not bleeding, you're not trying, or no pain, no gain. Any of those sound familiar? See, we go through life being taught that you have to exert yourself. You have to push your way into first. But have you ever noticed that the people who seemingly always come out on top usually make it look easy? Like they don't seem to be trying to force anything. It almost seems magical in a way. That's the power of allowing. It's contrary to everything we've been taught, but it's the key to everything we want. Now, if you're a religious person, let go and let God makes sense. If you're not religious, then just knowing in your heart that what is meant for you will be, just knowing that allowing things to come to you is way more effective than forcing them. My challenge to you today is if there's something you've been wanting, something you know in your heart is meant for you, let go of the need to force it, and maybe even put your focus on something else. You can do what I do and just hand it off to the universe. If it's meant for you, there's nothing that can stop it. Just know in your heart it'll work out and let it go. It's scary, I know, but often the key to everything you want is hidden in your ability to learn to let go. Share this with 3 people who are really working hard to make things happen. I love you guys. I'll talk to you in a few days.
Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends, because we're just going to keep going bigger and better places together, and I love that about us. Talk to you in a few days.